night before the main character was picked up by his uncle, the younger maid had stolen from the main character. She stole itching flowers from him, and she was going to pull a prank on the stepmother for how the stepmother's been treating the main character, Malid, and she was caught. And the stepmother accused of trying to get rid of her, so she had the maid severely punished to death. She was saved by the shapeshifter. He kept her from being killed. He made it look like she was offed, but she was not. Only the main character knows this, the Melly does not. After the Melly was able to escape and get out of the household while everyone else was rid of, the main character was caught, and these assassins were trying to figure out what to do with him. They're like, well, someone who decides to help someone and escape from their fate should be. And the only person that was really standing up for him and was keeping him from being rid of right at that moment was the shapeshifter. And he also reveals to everyone that the main character's father is their leader, the abbot, and that he also has a twin brother. So their best thing they could do is probably take him to the abbot and see what the abbot wants to do with the main character. But these men were not listening to the dude. It's only when the main character's mother shows up to protect the main character, and she gives the main character two choices. He either can go back up to the mountain and take his punishment, whatever it is, or she can help him escape, risking her own life by getting rid of the assassins. And the main character chooses the going up the mountain, seeing what his fate is. The Melly, he's been suffering since he left his household, and he's seen exactly what the main character was telling him, and he's now living it. And he decides to use the method the main character told him to get in contact with him. So he uses this method, and instead of the main character coming to him, it's the shapeshifter who warns the Melly never to do this again, that he's lucky it was the shapeshifter who came for him and nobody else. He tells the Melly to continue on his life and that he's lucky the main character sacrificed himself for the Melly, and the Melly asked what he means. He states that the main character was lashed repeatedly for his actions and is now resting in bed, and he might not make it. And that the Melly must go on his ways and never show up again. So the Melly does exactly what the shapeshifter tells him. The Melly follows a bunch of roofages all the way to the capital, all the way to the palace, and enters as a eunuch. There is a 2-year time skip. We see that the Melid is working in the Coal Palace, taking care of all the concubines and consorts who have been thrown into the Coal Palace. He's also having to deal with a harasser who won't take no as an answer, who constantly harasses him, and the Melly finally agrees to, warm the man's bed. Instead, he gets rid of the dude the first chance he gets. He drags his harasser's body to a well, drops it into the well, and is planning to go through the well to take the body outside because the well leads outside, so that's his plans. But he doesn't go straight away. He goes back to clean himself up because, he feels filthy and nasty. And then he returns back to the well, except he finds the main character instead. Yeah, the main character is there for a mission, and they come across each other. The main character is injured, so he leaves the body he was going to take care of and takes the main character to the harasser's room to hide the main character there and to take care of the main character's injuries. That's when soldiers appear to check everything out, and luckily the main character's teacher is the shapeshifter, so he knows how to hide his injuries and make it look like he's somebody else. Though he wasn't able to completely make a disguise for his face. Luckily, though, the Malid was able to cover him in spots to make it look like he has smallpox. So the soldiers don't question anything and they leave. The main character's clan was there because they was hired to get rid of a consort pregnant with the Emperor's child. But it's not because she's pregnant with the Emperor's child that someone wants to get rid of her. The person who wants to get rid of her is the same guy who hired the main character's clan to get rid of the Melid's family. Yeah, he's the same dude. He doesn't like what the consort was telling the Emperor about him, so he wanted rid of her. They failed the first time around, which causes her to go into labor early, and he sicks them on her again while she's trying to birth the child. and she and the child ends up dying by the hands of these assassins. This man we're going to be calling the Puppet Master because he's controlling everything in the background. Everyone fears him. No one can go against him because when they do, they disappear or their lives are ruined. He's been in the Emperor's life since the Emperor was a child. Back when the former Emperor was Emperor, he had came across the former Emperor in his carriage, and he had bowed down, stopped the carriage, begged and pleaded, even when he was being beaten, and the former Emperor, feeling pity to him, took him in and handed him over to the current Emperor. The current Emperor was the third prince, so there was no real chance that he would ever be Emperor, but his two brothers died in a power struggle. The Puppet Master was the only person there for the current Emperor. He took care of the current Emperor, supported the current Emperor, protected him from his younger brothers, basically shielding him from his older brothers who would, abuse him and mistreat him. The current Emperor, who wasn't really raised or taught to be Emperor, is now Emperor because he had no other brothers except the two who ended up dying in a power struggle. And he is a horrible, vile emperor. He does nothing for the state, doesn't support and care for his people. He wastes the money on foolish things and for his own fun. He plays around with ladies, he drinks and does all horrible things. And so his eunuch, the power-hungry dude, has all the power. The Puppet Master has all the power. Really not wanting the main character to leave, he convinces the main character to stay and take the disguise and life of the harasser who was harassing the male lead. And since the main character has the ability to disguise himself, he ends up agreeing to it. The main character also has to protect the male lead from another harasser. This dude works in the kitchens, and he was harassing the male lead. At first, he was just giving the male lead nicer portions, nicer food. And then he's like, oh, but since I've been doing all this nice things for you, you should repay me. You should be with me. Obviously, this disgusts and upsets the male lead. And this dude is not really taking a no as an answer, even though he's saying, oh, I want your permission. I want your consent. I won't force you. But it's not really like he's giving the male lead a choice. Luckily, the main character steps in between them and gets physical with the dude to protect the male lead. Lead, he's not going to have this anyways. Yes, the main character protects him from his second harasser, but dude is not going to let his harasser live. So he lures this dude out and gets rid of the dude by making it look like the dude stole stuff and ended up getting drowned while trying to escape with the stolen stuff. And the main character realizes this when he overhears the rumors and stories going about this dude's death, and he confronts the male lead over it. This leads to an argument between the main character and male lead over this, and the male lead pointing out all the main character's hypocrisies over death and why can't he take lives if the main character can take lives, though the main character has never taken a single life. And he doesn't really tell the male lead this, but the male lead has figured out that the main character has never taken a single life. But they argue over this. The main character giving the male lead good reasons of why he shouldn't just be going around getting rid of people, like what murder leads to and what consequences it can cause and what it can cause to your soul and spirit and your life. It's a full-on argument, and I was literally on the main character's side. I was like, dude, tell him, make him listen to you. He does have reasons of why he got rid of those people, but at the same time, get into his head, speak your word, honey.